That's a lot of pickle juice, Gary.
Mm-hmm.
They are the wood enthusiasts.
We are super excited to have you here today. And I know I'm excited mostly because we're about to talk about one of our favorite resources and one of our favorite types of wood. And just believe me when I say things are about to get knotty.
Pine.
If you can come in here, there's a little knot. You see that? There's a little knot there, and what it looks like here is a twig. You can actually, generally, you should be able to wiggle these out.
I should have kept the twig for you. Yep.
You'll have this perfect little hole here.
We are enthused. I mean, that's the word I want to use. I know sometimes I'm just busting with enthusiasm when it comes to pine because it's one of my favorite resources. It's readily accessible. We always like to say things are about to get naughty. And that's a direct reference to pine.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking forward to this episode because we've got some really exciting things happening. And looking at kind of some of the clips and kind of the film that we already have in store, I know we're... I know, looking at some of the clips we have, and some of the writing that we've done that we talked to, I'm super excited because there's some excellent information.
You think you know, but you don't know. Fun fact, F-U-X facts. Wouldn't you like to know all things about wood?
Go on, Gary. Get up that ladder.
Well, here's a fun fact for you. Did you realize that the oldest tree is believed to be in the White Mountains of California? They call it the Methuselah. It is a white pine tree, and it's about 4,800 years old.
Well, come on back down.
We do have a UK contender, however, for the oldest tree. It is in a churchyard in Lochurno, North Wales. There's also a tree in Scotland, a yew tree as well. It's thought to be about 3,000 to about 9,000 years old. That is an old tree.
We have one bit where we're actually going to be talking about knots, and I know personally I found some terrific knots that I'm just excited to show.
You know, there's always treats when you're working with wood, and there's things that you see and that stand out that are always exciting. You know, I was kind of working with this wood. I'm just starting to sand it down. I've got some more things to do on this table, but I noticed, and this is another thing I love, I noticed here that we just have, right here, you can see there's a hole here, and a little tiny, kind of a bridge. There's still a bit of a bridge there. But obviously this is where a knot fell out, so that would be another case of loose knots. Right here, this is SPF. So that, again, we've discussed this before, I know, but that stands for spruce, pine, fir. So right here we just have this nice little knot. Here you'll just see, interesting, this middle board. This middle board is pressure treated. The outside boards aren't. The outside boards are kind of construction lumber grade. Obviously this piece is pressure treated. That's with sienna. So you kind of get a nice mixed pattern here, don't you? See a mixed pattern. Different colors, different, variations from the spectrum of woods. What kind of stuck out? It's just this little knot. It's kind of, well, I guess the knot's gone. Just this hole. What was left behind? What was left behind? Okay.
A good friend of ours, Glen, who is a large part of our writing team, who is an often he's a reoccurring cast member. He's not one of the leads.
No.
He's not one of the leads.
No.
But he's a reoccurring cast member. But
I'm still not too sure.
Mr. Clutterbugs walking through the forest, watering trees, even though they don't need it. Mr. Clutterbugs.
My lips never touch this. This is for the wood. And I just want to show you why. Right here, you come up to this tree here, you see this? Dry. Just so dry. It needs it needs some water. So I'm gonna just show you how we do this. Sometimes you spray it, sometimes you, oh, you know what? That's actually a telephone pole. That's why that one's dry. But there are so many dry trees.
Still not too sure about it.
no, he gave me a call the other day, and I know I've spoken to Gary about this before, so I know he's okay with it. But Glenn told me that he actually has a piece of zebra wood. Yeah, he's going to bring us a piece of zebra wood. We're going to look at it. We're going to, because zebra wood has some terrific.
What I like
lines.
about the zebra wood is it combines the black and the white.
That's right. That's right, Gary. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. It's the insight. You know, even there's you know, I've known Gary since 1986, and even there's years where we'll sit by the campfire, and it'll just be silent, and we will sit for hours, and all of a sudden Gary will come out with something. He'll say something deeply profound, something similar to what you just said, and I'll just have to sit back and take it in and soak it in, and I've done that for years now, years, and you know, when we're off camera, Gary's usually the talkative one. To be honest, he's the one. Not necessarily shy as much as he doesn't want to speak. He's not interested in speaking because he doesn't necessarily like people. So
Look what you can do with just a little bit of wood.
Feels like it makes. Oh, would you look at this?
Oh my
Look at
goodness.
this. Look at the knot there. Look at this piece. Very natural knot.
Go careful.
It's called
You're going to want to sand that first before you...
A soft groove knot.
Yeah.
So what we had here is at some point, look at this is the back side, so the mill ran through. Yeah. This is the milled side, this is the unmilled side, this is kind of the natural side, the smoothness. And that's what you would want to keep. This is a very natural piece, very beautiful piece. And this is a really nice piece. Look at that. A really nice piece. This is a really nice piece. Would you hold that in for a second?
Now hold that.
Do you have a Red Fresh?
I do.
Let's have a look. My first memory actually goes back to my earliest memories, and that would be going to my grandmother's house for family dinners. What I remember most is walking in the front door, and my dad would say, you know, he's like, come on kids, let's go, you know, bring in the food, and all the kids would be running around, we'd be getting the food, but my attention was instantly drawn to this beautiful table. It was a beautiful, beautiful table. It's probably about 7 feet in length, and maybe 3.5 feet wide. Look at this, Gary. Look at this, Gary. Gary, look at this. Look at this. This is cherry oak. Look at this, Gary. Look at this. This is cherry oak. At the time, I thought it was this beautiful cherry table. It was you know, this beautiful thing. I actually found out later in life it wasn't. It was actually maple with a cherry stain. It was the maple table with a cherry stain, and all these years, for years and years, I thought it was a cherry table, but you know, cherry wood. And so I felt this love for cherry wood because there was this big, beautiful table and had this thick polyurethane gloss that I would kind of, you know, I would instantly run into the house and I would run my hand along the beveled edges and kind of feel the corners and feel the gloss and kind of feel that thick, heavy, you know, kind of massive table. You know, you had this huge feeling. And I just remember thinking that, you know, probably it was 100 years ago that some man was, you know, just kind of hammering and sawing and nailing and putting this table together. I think it was at that point where my love for wood truly began, because I think for the first time, even at a very young age, you know, I was a very young boy, it was probably for the first time that I understood the power of wood. You know, I understood the ability that it had to transform lives, to transform a living room, to transform a dining room, to create. And I think that's really truly where it first began, when I saw the depth and kind of the beauty of this table. Oh, Mr. Gilbert, look at this horse. Look at this. Gary, would you look at this? Gary, look at this. Look at this. Gary, look at this. Come here. Look at this. Oh, you'll notice there my dog just jumped right inside of the fence there. Didn't even. Hey, Sliver, get out of there! Sliver, get out of there! This dog never listens to me. Gary, you need to retrain him and tell him that when Larry Woodstone's talking to your dog, he needs to listen. Because Sliver's still in there. Oh my goodness, Gary, look at this, Gary. Oh my goodness, Gary. Gary, can you see me? Gary, come in. Gary, come on in here. Oh my goodness, Gary, it's running. Oh my goodness, look at this, Gary, they're talking to me. Yeah, they're waving their tails and they're jiggling their bellies. That's how they talk. You'll notice that both the horses are just beautiful. And we know that because if you look at them, you can tell that. Oh, look at this. One nipped. Gary, did you catch that? One's nipping at the other horse. I think Darkstain took a bit of a nip at Cherry Oak, and I think they're upset at each other.
Well, thank you for joining us for today's episode. I hope you appreciate it as much as I did. There are some really excellent clips in there and funny things that happened, and I hope you return to the next episode. But how are they going to do that, Gary?
You're going to want to subscribe.
And like and follow us. And Gary doesn't know the whole world of the internet, but he has figured out subscribe. So if you can, click on the links above us. You're going to see links all over here. I'm going to leave a little dead space so you can look at the links.
I want you to know, Larry, is that there are very few people in this world who enjoy wood as much as you do.
Oh,
and
that's
I want
absolutely
to
right.
just let you know that I hold you to high esteem.
Oh, Gary, that's such a wonderful thing to hear. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Gary, thank you. That's such